Well, hello, guys. Hello. We're live back on another Saturday night. Uh, it's me, your boy Poppy. I know we're missing somebody, but we'll get to him in a little bit.
Are we?
And and I'm joined by my co-host Rios. Tell him what's up, Rios.
Feeling pretty good, especially because that Carlos isn't here. Man, it feels
I don't
good.
miss him, man. I don't miss him. Apparently, I heard he got by a skunk or something, right? He got sprayed.
Got hosed down by a skunk. He's in a bathtub somewhere, doused in vinegar and tomato juice. Which will be absolute worst.
Hopefully, we won't miss him at all. Hopefully, we won't miss him. But today we do have a guest. His name is Mark Thomas. He's a former college running back. He also played for the Eagles, I believe, and he was in Europe and the Canadian Football League. But he'll tell us more about it in a second. Please, everybody, welcome our boy Markus Thomas. Hey, what's up, Marcus?
What's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
We're here, man. We're just ready to talk some football.
Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming in, man.
Yeah, man.
Now, tell us, man. So, like we were saying, we know that you had a really good college career. Walk us through that, man.
Yeah, I was what they call a late bloomer in high school, but I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. Played football at Princeton High School. You might not be familiar, but put your name over your heart every time you say that. We were the 17th ranked high school football team in the country, ranked by USA Today. There was 3 guys in my class that all made it to the NFL, and all 3 of us were considered late bloomers. I didn't start until I was a senior. My friend Ron Carpenter didn't start his senior year because he hurt his knee as a receiver. He ended up going to the University of Miami of Ohio to play, and ended up winning the Super Bowl with the Rams for the greatest show on turf. He was on that team.
Let's go.
And my other friend Alan DeGraffin Reed, who was a kicker. He was a soccer star at our high school, soccer and track star.
There you go.
He was our kicker in high school. Walked on at Ohio State. He was 6'2", almost 6'3", had 4.3 speed, so they put him at wide receiver, bulked him up. So you got a big 6'3", 4.3 speed wide receiver, and he ended up playing with Green Bay, the Bengals, and the Kansas City Chiefs. So there was 3 guys from my class that made it to the show. Then I went to Eastern Kentucky, had a really good career at Eastern Kentucky, broke the all-time 1AA rushing record, 6.7 yards per carry. I could tote the rock, man. Don't get me started.
Yeah, man. Like you were killing it.
And then we ended up signing as a free agent with the Eagles in 93, 94. Then I got cut because of a gentleman by the name of Charlie Garner came into town. And but ended up playing overseas, played world's European football, the World League as they called it back then. We won a championship in 96, then played up in Canada for a bit before I finally shut it down and put my degree to work.
There you go. So I was looking at some of your stats, man. Like 5,552 yards.
Yeah.
Like in college, that's elite. That's a monster right there.
And I got hurt one year, so I would have easily had over 6,000 yards if I hadn't gotten hurt.
What kind of injury was that?
I got a real bad bone bruise in my shoulder my junior year, I believe it was, and I missed like 4 or 5 games.
That's an easy 200-300 400 yards right there.
Yeah, right. At that point I was averaging probably like 120 yards a game. So we were surrounded by good guys. I'm not sure if you're familiar with my podcast, Pro Fan Talk, but last week I had Myron Guyton, who played for the Giants when they won the Super Bowl. We played college together. Elroy Harris that played in Seattle. Tim Lester that blocked for Jerome Bettis in Pittsburgh.
Oh, man.
Aaron Jones, the defensive end, also played in Pittsburgh. John Jackson, offensive lineman, also played in Pittsburgh. Leon Brown played in Jacksonville. Mike Cador played for the Saints. So Eastern Kentucky, Jason Dunn played here in Philadelphia and with the Chiefs. So Eastern Kentucky's got a pretty good legacy in the league, man.
That's good, man. Do you have anybody that play with the Texans?
Texans.
Probably not. We're not good enough.
I don't think so.
No, as you can tell, we're Texas fans. We're based here in Houston, in the A-Leaf area. We always talking Texans, Astros, Rockets. But I see that you're a big Philly fan, man.
Yeah, man.
So how you feeling this season, man?
Pretty daggone good. I'm being an ex-Eagle, I follow the team with my podcast for sports and all stuff like that. This is a Eagle town. Even with what the Sixers are doing, and even what the Phillies did, especially you guys know that being from Houston, we're still an Eagles town. It's always Eagles first. We show love to everybody else, but make no mistake, we are Eagles first in this town, and it has been a lot of excitement. The city was very divided in the beginning about Jalen Hurts because they didn't know what to make of it.
Right.
He wasn't getting a lot of love from the media heads. That's a whole nother set of circumstances we can talk about later. But the media heads, they just didn't like him for whatever reason. They didn't like his metrics. They didn't like, he wasn't 6'4". He wasn't a great passer. And, my argument was let the kid have at least 1 year with the same offensive system.
Exactly.
And he finally came back. We didn't change anything. So I looked at it as you got a young quarterback that finally comes back into the season with the answers to the test. You know what? You can study a whole offensive system for a whole offseason and get better at it. And that's exactly what he did. Because all of the knocks about Jalen Hurts, all of the criticism that he was taking, everything was valid. The only thing he could do was run. He was not a very good passer. He was not an efficient passer. He was not an accurate passer. A lot of passes late and off target. So all of those criticisms were valid. And after that season, after that game, after we played Tampa Bay and he got embarrassed, and they got that one video clip of the coach on the sideline literally saying he can't read defenses. They got him on tape saying that. This is where I say somebody like Jalen Hurts, all of those immeasurables that people talk about, the character, being a good leader, all of that kind of stuff, the intangibles, that's where that kind of stuff comes into play. Because I guarantee you he saw that tape. So he knew what he had to do after that game. And even in the press conference, he said, wasn't a good game. He owned up to it. And he said, my third season starts tomorrow. And he got to work. So I'm like, hey, if there's a young quarterback out there, you need to have Jalen Hurts on speed dial, call him, find out what he did in the offseason, and everybody needs to do the same thing because he did a complete 180. Nobody, and I mean nobody, ever saw him playing like this year. Nobody expected this. He's a legitimate MVP candidate. My thing has been Jalen Hurts should walk away with the MVP if Patrick Mahomes didn't exist.
Yeah, so, that's a big if, right?
Yeah, you can't take nothing away from Mahomes, man. He putting up video game type numbers.
That's
man.
What I'm saying.
Crazy stuff. So it is what it is, man. But Jalen Hurts should be in that picture. And then don't get me on this tangent about the Philly bias, man. It's like I don't expect to win every award, and we shouldn't, right? But make it make sense. You know what I mean? Bosa is leading the league in sacks. Hassan Reddick has got 16 and a half. He's not even in the conversation?
Nope.
He's not even in the conversation?
Yeah, a lot of it is media, right? It's the media in general. Exactly. Narratives and all that. Like at the beginning of the season when you guys had, I think you guys were undefeated for a while.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season, a lot of people, I was saying the same thing because I'm a Jalen Hurts fan for sure. Even last year, he's Houston, born and raised. Even last year, when he was struggling, he was one of those quarterbacks that I was like, this kid's got a bright future if he can put in the work. At the beginning of the season, you guys were like the top seed for a while, but what everybody was saying is like, oh, they're beating mediocre defenses. He's not faced a real challenge yet. But the more the season went on, the less that narrative is started to pop up. It got quiet real quick, but he didn't get the praise. He wasn't getting the praise. He just wasn't getting as much hate, but he wasn't getting the praise that he deserved. And the more, and in this postseason so far, the more I see you guys play, the more I'm like, how do the Eagles not win the Super Bowl? Like you said, Patrick Mahomes is the biggest if at the moment, but he's got to face Burrow, who he hasn't beat.
And I think they're going to lose.
Right?
I think Burrow and my Bengals are going to beat them.
You think so?
I do too.
So we might be jumping the gun a little bit because you guys have to go through the 49ers, right?
Yeah.
And the 49ers look good.
Yes, they do.
They don't look great. You know, I feel like that Dallas game, it was kind of boring on both sides, but it was very defensively heavy.
Yeah, the defense looks great.
The defense does look great. And, you know, with how young Jalen Hurts still is, do you see him struggle against that defense? Or do you think it's like already a given that you guys are going to be in the Super Bowl?
Definitely not a given. And I will say this as a former player, we never think like that. Nothing is a given. You take care of what's ahead of you. So those type of thoughts, you know, I saw a thing that was on social media. Somebody asked Miles Sanders. They were asking him, you know, what's going on with your contract situation? And immediately Miles Sanders was like, nope, San Francisco 49ers Sunday at 3.
Yeah.
and somebody tried to follow up with the same type of question. He was like, he kept shaking his head. Nope. San Francisco 49ers Sunday at 3. So, and I'm saying that to say Jalen Hurts steers that ship. So he's got everybody locked in. And the only thing you're worried about is what's at hand. They don't get too far ahead. And even with the rocky start that Sirianni had with the flowers and all of that kind of nonsense, he's got everybody on the same page. When you're a team like that and you've got a good balance of personalities and everybody is pointing in the same direction, that is very, very difficult to do. And the further they get along in the playoffs and the more this kid does, that lets you know he's the right man for the job. Props to Howie Roseman for making the right deals at the right time. And everybody's in the zone. Everybody's going in the same direction. And they've got that tight-knit locker room, very similar to what we had in 2017, but I think even more so because of Jalen Hurts. And you can't just throw that away. All of the props and the accolades that the 49ers defense has gotten is well-deserved and 100%. However, you look at every position on that field. You want to look at Nick Bosa? I can show you Hassan Reddick and Brandon Graham and Josh Sweat and Milton Williams. You know, if you want to show me Brandon Ayuk, I can show you A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You got Kittles, we got Goddard. And we can keep going on and on. I think the only clear advantage, and I say clear, would be at quarterback. And that's only because of what Jalen Hurts has done this year, because nobody expected it. And we've had a big enough sample size to where you can't deny it. You can hate on him if you want to, but the facts are the facts.
Exactly.
No, what you're 100% right on that. Go ahead, Rios.
No, I think especially for Jalen Hurts, this is probably like a statement game. You know what? I've gotten no love all year, and this is my chance to show myself, show what I can do on a national stage. And I think he's going to ball out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. I think he will. I'm looking for him to throw. I'm looking for him to have close to 300 yards passing tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Because I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the one thing about 49ers, their linebackers are fast.
Oh, yeah.
They can get to the ball. However, there are some matchups that we can take advantage of. They are fast and they are super aggressive. You can use that to your advantage. I was watching film on when the 49ers played Las Vegas. And for that defense to be that good, how you let the Vegas Raiders put 34 on you. Yeah, you beat them in overtime. They should have won that game. But I saw some things like, what's that kid? I like that kid, the safety, Hufanga. That kid is a beast. However, he is uber aggressive. He got beat by a tight end in that game badly. So when you got people very aggressive like that, very similar to how Diggs is in Dallas, he's very good, but he bites on the double moves and all of that kind of stuff, and you can take advantage of that. So we have some opportunities just like they have, but I think overall, I think we have the better team, and we've been playing better consistently throughout the year. The only times we had trouble is when Jalen Hurts wasn't behind center.
True. So speaking of Jalen, right, a little bit more. I actually have a buddy at work who we were having a conversation a couple of days ago about who the best quarterbacks in the league are.
Mhm.
And obviously, you can use the stats or you can use the eye test. For me, and we were talking about it just a little bit ago, Mahomes is playing like all Madden. Like he's putting video game numbers every single year. He's only been in the league for like what, 5 years?
Yep.
And he's like the best quarterback in the league. Obviously he was going for Burrow and how he's 3-0 or 4-0 against them. And Burrow has a very big case. He made it to the bowl last year, beating Mahomes in the process. What do you think Jalen ranks amongst the league's quarterbacks?
I would put Jalen in the big scheme of things. I would go Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. Are you talking about in the playoffs or just overall?
Let's go overall. Overall,
I would put my top 5 right now would be Mahomes, Burrow.
Gets difficult, huh?
Yeah, I would put Jalen at number 3, Josh Allen at number 4, because the last couple weeks of the season, Josh Allen showed you, like, all right, he's got some things he needs to work on.
Yeah, he does, definitely.
And number 5, I would still put Aaron Rodgers up there.
Okay.
So that's still there. It's just he had an off year.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but the situation is different. The situation over there in Green Bay is different.
Exactly,
and that's the difference in with Jalen in Philly. I feel like the Philly front office has done a very good job to working with him and supporting him as much as possible, building the O-line around him, giving them the weapons to work with.
I mean, look, they're in the NFC Championship and they still have a top 10 pick in the first round. I mean, it's unheard of.
Yeah, they're only going to get better. And Jalen is still very young, man.
Yeah, he's like 24.
Yeah, the Texans would love to have a quarterback that elite, that young right now, because we after the past couple of seasons, man, it's just not fun being a Texas fan.
Well, the rumor is you guys might get D'Amico. He might be coming back home. So
hopefully
that's the rumor. So
we were talking about it last week. We were talking about it with Seth Payne, and he was telling us how out of all the candidates, D'Amico is probably his favorite. And after we had that talk, like the rumors have only been getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And one of the points that I made is that I kind of wanted, just because I'm so tired of the same type of head coach that we've had, like I don't want a defensive coach anymore. Like I want somebody who's gonna actually use weapons like Pierce, and hopefully if we get a quarterback like Bryce or CJ Stroud, like somebody who's gonna take advantage of that and actually like help develop them more. So I was really on the camp of a offensive coordinator, such as the Eagles' offensive coordinator. But he kind of sold me on the D'Amico idea. The more he talked about it, and with the rumors becoming as strong as they are, I'm not very mad at it. I just don't know what the future holds for our franchise, though.
Yeah, but I never thought that just because you have a defensive coach doesn't mean you can't be an offensive team.
True. It's going to depend on who they hire as an offensive
exactly.
coordinator.
That's what it comes down to. You look at the situation, like you saw with Bowles and not Bowles, but the guy that was in Miami before Daniel got there. Yeah, so he was a defensive minded coach and just wasn't the offense just wasn't his thing, and he was trying to. I'm gonna leave it to you guys to do that. He just didn't have very good coaches on the offensive side of the ball. And then you get somebody like Daniels to come in, and you take somebody like Tua, who very similar to Jalen Hurts, didn't nobody give two craps about. And then all of a sudden he's throwing the ball. You get him a weapon, you get him two weapons. Now you got Waddle and the cheetah down there. Oh, now it looks different.
That's all you need, really. That's all you need.
But it's not, to me, it's not complicated. And people concentrate on the wrong thing. People are so quick to crap on Tua. And it's like, just like any other number one draft pick quarterback, it makes a difference if you have weapons. That's exactly what happened here in Philly. Howie Roseman went to work. The A.J. Brown trade just blew everybody out of the water, including Tennessee. And, it makes absolutely. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference. Even look the turn that you guys went after all of the stuff that happened when your boy went to Cleveland.
Right.
You know what I mean? The situation hasn't been right since. And there's probably enough blame. I'm on the outside looking in. You got more insight into that, but I look at that situation as like there's probably enough to blame to go all the way around.
Oh, there is.
Definitely.
But the biggest thing is you had a top elite level quarterback, and even when you had him in the numbers he was putting up, wasn't getting it done. So something was missing, but now you got to start from square one. So that goes into what is the ownership doing? What are they looking for? What are they trying to do? Are they peeking over their corner looking to see what Jerry is doing? And if you are, please stop, because that's clearly not the way to do it. You know, I couldn't, you know, I couldn't go through the night without getting dig on the Cowboys, but you know,
that's fine. We welcome it, man. We welcome it.
It's a lot of things that go on, man, and people. The one thing I'm noticing, and it's one of those things you always knew it, but with the things that I'm doing now, getting into podcasting and just being in a situation where I study the game a lot more, it's very easy to tell when you're watching everybody who's got opinions, who watches tapes and who watches highlights. There's a big difference. One of the guys I played with when I was with the Eagles was Brian Baldinger. I know Brian Baldinger watches tape. So if he's doing his Baldy breakdowns and I know I'm going to learn something from him. I know I'm going to learn something from Greg Cosell. I'm in South Jersey. NFL Films is 20 minutes away from me. So I know the guys in this area watch tape. And if they're giving you a opinion on somebody and they don't like somebody for some reason, they're going to show you tape to back it up. Not like Chris Sims or Cowherd or those guys that just talk about highlights. And it's like, you got to go deeper than that. And when you're in the city, just like you guys are in Houston, you guys can tell me some things about the Astros or the Texans that I'm not going to know up here in Philadelphia. So you got the overall arching, you know, the media heads, ESPN, PFF, all of these people, they watch highlights and they give you a very limited view of what they see. The problem is everybody takes that limited view and they run with it.
Oh yeah, they take it as gospel, and it's not.
Yeah,
you gotta watch their they'll talk about, you know, Jalen Hurts throwing mechanics, like, but they don't say, you know, what's wrong with it or, you know, what you can do to fix it. They just, you know, just make a narrative and run with it, basically.
Yeah, they're like, he's inefficient. Let's move on.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, we had the when we played the Cowboys the first time, and I remember saying, like, because Micah Parsons is a local kid. Micah Parsons went to Penn State. He's not far from the Philadelphia area, so he's very familiar with this up here. So I'd like the kid. I always thought he was quiet, and I was like, I remember saying, Micah Parsons, when he becomes the leader of that defense, Dallas is going to be dangerous because he doesn't say much. He just goes out there and balls.
He works.
And damn it, right after that, he started talking smack, and just then he got on the podcast with what's his name? The guy from Buffalo. What am I thinking? The defensive end from Buffalo that went to from Denver.
Oh,
it's killing me. Anyway.
Oh, you're killing me. Yeah, you're killing me. I was about to Google it, man. You're killing me.
He went on the dude's podcast and he made that comment about Jalen Hurts. He wasn't wrong in what he said, but I'm like, you didn't have to say it because it looked like he was shitting on Jalen Hurts. Exactly. And it's like, why did you go there? And then that was the week DeMarcus Lawrence was like, yo, them boys in Philly ain't never played a defense like ours before. And it's like, dude, you've never gone against Lane Johnson, who hasn't given up a sack in 3 years. So stop. And that was the game. If you remember, Lane Johnson got hurt.
I remember that.
Micah Parsons didn't do a daggone thing until Lane Johnson got hurt.
Yeah.
So just being in a situation where nobody's saying nothing, and then all of a sudden everybody's talking and squawking and all of that kind of stuff. It's like, dude, keep your mouth shut. When you come on Sunday, handle your business. Then if you want to talk smack, do that after the fact. Because everybody that's come in our town and everybody that put their stupid jersey on a Rocky statue, everybody that's done that has left with a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, so
when will they learn? When will they learn?
I don't get it.
The one thing, like, I'm very happy that the Cowboys lost to the 49ers, but the one thing that would have made it even better is if they actually beat the 49ers and then lost to the Eagles, because I know that would have hurt even more, man.
Yeah, we would have beat Dallas.
You think so?
Beat Dallas. Well, we beat them once with Jalen Hurts, but that was when Dak Prescott was hurt, right?
Yeah.
So we had to deal with Cooper Rush.
But even when Dak was hurt, like Dallas wasn't playing badly. So
no, they weren't. They were playing actually better with Cooper Rush, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Then Dak came back. Then he, Dak is back, and then all of a sudden he leads the league in interception after missing 5 games.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? And then Gardner Minshew almost beats him. We turned the ball over 4 times, and we still had an opportunity to win.
That was a crazy game. I'm like,
it was a crazy game.
It shouldn't have been as close as it was with those turnovers, but
it made it interesting, man. It made it really interesting.
It did. So if I was of the impression that if we would have met Dallas again, we had all of our pieces, they had all of their pieces, we would have won that game.
I feel like it would have been a good show. It would have been a good show for sure.
But I will say this one thing: at least Dallas, when they played the 49ers, they at least gave us a blueprint of how to deal with the San Francisco offensive line and Brock Purdy, because Dallas had him on the run. He looked a little shook, got him off his marks, had to scramble a little bit, and he was just off because they kept him on the move all day, and he couldn't make things happen.
So do you think that's going to be the game plan against the 49ers?
Yeah, because I think
Brock has impressed me so much this postseason. And I thought the nerves was going to get to him. I thought the pressure was going to get to him.
Nah.
And I felt like Dallas was like as big as obstacle as any. And even then, like, yes, they put him under pressure, but he still looked pretty solid.
I don't see, when you talk about pressure and him playing like a rookie, like, I don't look at it like that, because he hasn't played like a rookie.
Right.
He might have a bad game just like any other quarterback. So does that mean he showed his true colors or he played like a rookie? Like, well, no, you didn't say that with Aaron Rodgers, did it?
Right, but I feel like it comes down to expectations, right? Because nobody was expecting anything from him. The fact that he's gotten them this far is ridiculous. And part of me, like, because I love the narrative of like this third string quarterback, comes into the team and then makes it all the way to the bowl, and hell, what if he wins it? Like, I would love that storyline. Like, there's going to be a 30 for 30, a 60 for 60 about it.
Yeah. Like Kurt Warner did.
Absolutely. Did you see Steve Smith's? I saved it.
I haven't.
He put something on Twitter, I think it was, and he was talking about, like, basically how did all of the scouts miss him? I got to think about this. Like, how did somebody miss Brock Purdy if he's that good? Like, because so people get so caught up into these stereotype attributes. They definitely want somebody that's tall as Josh Allen and or Trevor Lawrence. Like, they want all of these stereotype measurables, and it's like, that don't mean nothing, because
it doesn't mean nothing. On the field, it's different.
There's a ton of quarterbacks that are the same size as Ryan Leaf or Jeff George, but people like that never sniffed a winning season, or there's just so many other factors in it. And hopefully, because I played against, when I was in the CFL, like, I remember I had an opportunity to play against Doug Flutie. I played for Hamilton. Flutie was still in Toronto doing his thing with the Argos. And then we played him. And I remember I made it a point. They beat us. It was a good game, close game. They ended up winning. But I made a point to find him after the game and shake his hand. And I was like, dude, you belong in the league. I don't give a damn what anybody tell you. And that next year, that's when Buffalo signed him. But they didn't know how he was ahead of the curve. I could just imagine Doug Flutie now with some of these offenses. Yeah. He would be off the chain. Exactly. He would be off the chain. So, but to Steve Smith's point, the scouts get so caught up into what they think they're looking for that they miss the guy that's right in front of their face. The same way with Brock Purdy, the same way with Jalen Hurts. Because when we drafted Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia lost their shit. They were like, "What are you doing?" They fire Howie, all of that stuff.
They fall back to the stereotype, right? Oh, he's too short. He doesn't pass. Yeah,
exactly. We don't need another running quarterback. They did not like that at all. But it's like, listen, you got to get a kid a shot. It's not a accident that the kid won at Oklahoma and Alabama. Yeah. It's like, that's not an accident. The kid has got some skills, but because he's not 6'3" or whatever, and it's like, come on, man. You'll give Baker Mayfield the shot that he needs, but all of a sudden Jalen Hurts, now you're talking about another different conversation. Now you're trying to get in the colorism, racism, favoritism, and things of that nature. It's like, hey, make it make sense. If you're going to make it fair for everybody. So at least give them the shot.
Yeah, but we know how the media is, man.
Exactly.
But like, I'm sure the city is like static that you guys
Absolutely.
got a guy like Jalen and that you guys are going against the 49ers tomorrow. How you feeling about it? You think, like you said, there's going to be a few matchups that you guys can take advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think come Super Bowl day, you guys are there?
I think we're there. I think the Eagles take care of business tomorrow. My prediction was the Eagles win 27-17. I'm thinking it's going to be a one score game. It's going to be a tight game, and then we might get a turnover or something because they're pushing the ball, trying to do too much with not enough time, and maybe we get a turnover at the end, and maybe we kick a field goal to take it out of range. Something to that effect. But it's going to be a tight game. My prediction was 27-17 Eagles.
Okay, what about you, Rios? What are you thinking?
I think it's going to come to that second field goal also. Maybe in overtime. I see it
overtime, man. I see it going overtime.
That's a struggle. It's gonna be a fun matchup to watch. I see 17-14 Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see it going to overtime. I want an entertaining game. I think it's gonna be 21-21 going into overtime, and maybe that field goal seals it. Like I said, I don't really have a favorite. I just want to see a good game, man. And I feel like the Eagles and 49ers are the sleeper good game because everybody's gonna be locked in to Bengals and Chiefs.
Oh yeah,
we already know. And what are we thinking about that matchup, guys? Bengals, Chiefs.
My Bengals, bro. I bleed green, but I was born in the jungle, bro. Bengals. Nice. Well, I picked Buffalo to beat Cincinnati.
Me too,
because Buffalo was at home, but more importantly, the Bengals had lost 3 of their offensive linemen, 3 of their starters that they spent a lot of money on.
That
was gone. And for what Joe Burrow did in Buffalo, I was like, school's out. This kid, he's figured it out. And with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, he's got 2 elite level receivers. The defense is good. They got a stellar tight end. They got all the pieces together, man. And they, just like us, Joe Burrow's got them boys rolling. And what makes it even better, this is why I love Joe Burrow so much. He's from Cincinnati. He's literally the walking script. You talking about a 30 for 30? He plays in Cincinnati, like a suburb of Cincinnati. So he's a hometown kid because I remember it was a big thing when the Eagles had that when the Bengals had that draft pick. Somebody had popped the question, are they going to take Joe Burrow or are they going to go in a different direction? It's like, if you don't take this kid that just won the national championship for LSU, you are an idiot. You know, but clearly they did the right thing and they put pieces around them. And it's not complicated, even for what you guys are going to do in Houston. I think D'Amico Ryans is smart enough to realize, like, don't do nothing crazy. You don't have to. Find out what you got and put the pieces around him. That's why D'Amico Ryans is so good. He knows. The one thing I like about San Francisco, what they do is on offense and defense, because Shanahan is no joke.
Yeah.
They test you in the first half. They find out where the weakness is. Once they find that weakness, they just keep hitting it and hitting it. Yeah. They keep running it and keep doing what they do until you prove that you can stop it. That's what makes D'Amico Ryans so good, man. He's coaching like a linebacker. And everybody's feeling that because he knows what it's like to be on that field. He was here in Philadelphia for 4 years, and he was good. So he's got that feeling. He's got it tapped in, and he can really talk to those players, and everybody wants to run through a wall for him. That is important. And he'll bring you guys some more winning seasons when he finally gets his stuff together. He might have some growing pains in the beginning, but if he gets a good quarterback, I see some things happen.
I feel like that's what it's going to come down to, like who we get on this draft. As far as quarterbacks, you know, we were very high on Bryce Young. I've been seeing a couple of mock drafts. I don't know what the Bears are going to do with their pick. If we don't get Bryce, we'll probably go the C.J. Stroud route. But I'm excited, man. Like, I just want change. Like, I'm so tired of losing the way we have been. You know, like I feel like last year, the rookies that we got, we had some solid rookies, man. I feel like Pierce is like a revelation, man. The one thing about it is that I don't want to put so many miles on the kid and not give him like a good quarterback to play with. You know, if we keep doing this for another 2-3 years, my boy's gonna be like 26 and with no knees, no shoulders. He's gonna be all beat up. Like I don't need that.
Who's the Houston? Is it Charles Harris? No, he plays for Detroit. You guys have got I can't remember if he's a linebacker or a rush edge. He plays on the right, on your right side on the
Harris. He played at Alabama. Right?
Yeah. That dude, and I said this when we played the Texans, because y'all gave us a hell of a game. That dude put on a clinic on how to defend the RPO. He put on a clinic, and I was like, ever since that game, that's how everybody plays us, because he showed how to do it. You get in the middle, and when you're in a situation like that, you go after the quarterback. You force the quarterback to run. Let the defense handle the running back. Just don't let the quarterback get away from you. I remember that game specifically because I was like, that dude put on a clinic on how to handle Jalen Hurts. And it's amazing that people don't, I'm sure they do, but they haven't made more of that game because y'all played us tough that game, man. Y'all played us real tough.
Yeah, and like I said, we do have a couple of young players that you can definitely build a team around.
Absolutely. Y'all got a good running back?
Yeah,
really good running back.
We just need to put him in the right situation with the right coach. And like I said, like last week talking about the Miko, like the more I think about it, the more I read about it, the more I talk to friends about it, the more I'm sold on the idea. I like me and Rios been talking about it like all season. Like he says, like we get a good quarterback, we get a good head coach. In 3 years, we're competitive again. I don't know, but I want to believe. Man. I want to be like you guys in 3 years' time, dude. I want to be talking playoffs. I want to be talking like, is Bryce Young better than Mahomes type of thing? I doubt that's going to happen. But
I don't think you guys should get a draft pick. I think you guys should get a good veteran.
Like a quarterback,
you guys should get a good veteran that could just come in and win you some games and just solidify the wet cement first.
Like so who we talking about? Like Carr, maybe?
I don't know. Carr, I don't know what the hell happened to Carr, man.
I have no idea what's going on with him either.
I don't get it. Like you got.
I don't like. People were saying that maybe Brady goes to the Raiders, and maybe that's why.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's why the Raiders decided to move on from Carr, but. After seeing Brady play against Dallas, do you wonder, man, we're better off keeping Carr?
Yeah, but Brady, Tampa Bay had way too many injuries going on.
Yeah, but like at the end of the day, Father Time beats everybody.
Undefeated.
Yep. Undefeated, man. So like every time people like when Brady retired last year, like I was like, good. Like he went out on top, like any great should. And then he decided to come back, get divorced, go through all of that, just to lose against Dallas out of all. So I'm just like, why do that again? Like if I was in, I would retire now.
I would have retired, but I think it had more, whatever was going on with his wife in that situation, because that was, nobody's going to know. The only people that know is probably Tom Brady and Gronkowski, because he probably told him.
Yeah, Gronk probably.
But I thought it was odd that after all of that happened, and the next thing you know, she in Brazil with the with the babysitter or something like that. So I'm like, you know what? Okay.
I don't know what's going on in Tampa Bay, man.
But at the end of the day, man, I'm like, how much longer are you going to try to do this? Because now it is catching up with you. But my thing is, do you really think he wants to go out like that?
I don't think so. But that's why he should have stayed retired after winning the Super Bowl.
I'm with you. I think he'll end up in Dallas with McDaniels again, Josh McDaniels. Not Dallas, but I'm sorry, Las Vegas.
I was about to say Dallas. So you were talking about a vet because last week we were talking about how many quarterback situations are kind of like up in the air. Like Lamar is one of them. We were talking about if Dallas are going to move on from Dak. We don't know what's happening with Mike. Who's the guy from the Giants?
Danny Jones.
Yeah. I heard reports that maybe like the Giants are looking at other options type of thing with Carr being a free agent. So like we don't know what's going to happen. Like I'm excited to see how the league shapes up
Now the rumor is that Aaron Rodgers might go to the Jets.
Pull a Brett Favre.
Yeah. Don't be surprised if y'all end up with Zach Wilson.
Oh God. Oh God. I'll tell you what, I'll buy the jersey just for the memes, dude. I'll buy it just for the laughs. But oh God, please don't. Please don't. But people were saying also Brady to the Jets wouldn't be the worst fit in the world. But
I don't see him doing that.
I don't see that, dude. Honestly, I didn't even see him going to Tampa in the first place. Like, I just don't see where he lands.
Yeah, I didn't understand that at all. But
some people were saying the 49ers, but the way Brock's been playing,
I doubt it.
The 49ers like hit the jackpot. They got stupidly lucky. Because everything that happened with Trey Lance, and I feel bad for Trey Lance because he never really had a shot to really get comfortable in what he was doing. No. Then he gets hurt. Then Jimmy G comes back, and I just thought, I'm not the biggest Jimmy G fan, but I'm like, listen, y'all can say what you want to say. Jimmy G, for all intent and purposes, took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. If it wasn't for the softball pop fly that the dude dropped, Jaquiski Tart dropped it. That's one of those interceptions you throw to your 5-year-olds. Like, make sure you catch it.
Yeah,
put your hands
both
together.
hands, both
exactly.
hands.
if he catches that interception, Jimmy Garoppolo's playing in the Super Bowl, and they dropped him like a bad habit. Yeah. So part of me was like, y'all get what y'all get. You know, you can talk about.
They got lucky, right? They got lucky.
Yeah, I don't understand when people like everybody, like you were mentioning this earlier, they want to put the terms of game manager. He's not that good. They want to put all of that somebody. Yeah, but he should have got y'all to the Super Bowl. But it wasn't his fault that you didn't make it. You know what I mean? So I don't understand what people look for. They want to solidify their perspective and their opinion so bad that they want to crap on everything else, even though they're at the point where all the 28 other teams in the league can't get to. You know, like right now, this is the first time I can say in a very, very long time. All 4 teams, Eagles, 49ers, the Bengals, and the Chiefs. These are the best teams in the league right now. Nobody slipped in. Nobody got lucky. These are the best teams in my opinion.
I think I agree with you. I'm trying to think of the last few rounds.
I don't remember.
Like I feel like if Buffalo would have beaten the Bengals, you could argue the Bengals missed out with the way they've been playing. But Buffalo was like, I think they were like a favorite when the playoffs started.
Absolutely, because everybody remembers that game with the Chiefs in Buffalo. That Josh Allen game was off the chain.
That was crazy. I remember we watched it. I remember we watched it at, was it Carlos' place?
Yeah.
And which, by the way, I forgot. Boom, there you go.
Yeah.
We were watching that game. That was a crazy game, man.
I would argue that was probably one of the best games I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yeah, because it went back and forth. Every time somebody had the ball, they were scoring. I was like, what in the world? And Josh Allen was throwing that rock around there, man.
The best game I've ever seen in my life was Week 1, Texas versus Colts. That ended in a tie.
Oh my God.
That game took me through so much emotion, man. I couldn't.
Dude, it just popped in my head, and I got to say it because it was bugging me. Von Miller had the podcast. Von Miller.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, Von Miller. Yeah.
But yeah. We got the best 4 teams, man. And nobody slipped up. I thought when the week after the DeMar Hamlin incident happened, they played the Patriots. Patriots should have beat them. If not for that guy having 2 kick returns. How often does that happen? 2 kick returns. Josh Allen looked garbage out there. And if it wasn't for that, they would have lost that game. And I was like, okay, I got the arched eyebrow now because they didn't look very good. And then you see what happened when Cincinnati. I was like, I don't know why you thought that the Bengals was going to be scared of some snow in Buffalo. Y'all must not have never been to Ohio because it get cold in Ohio. Don't get it twisted. We know how to play in the cold.
Yeah, the thing about Buffalo is that they look really good. Like on their day,
Yeah.
they can beat anybody, but they're also very beatable, and that's what they
Yes.
showed towards the end of the regular season. As far as the last four teams right now, is there a team that you think edges everybody else? Like, is there like a clear favorite? Because I want to say only because I'm such a fan of Mahomes and his game and what the numbers he puts up. Like, I don't see him losing. But then I said the same thing last year when he played the Bengals, and obviously he lost. So I'm just like, I want to say Mahomes. If you put a gun to my head, I'll say, yeah, the Chiefs are taking it.
Right now, Patrick Mahomes is either going to be a convenient excuse or he's going to cement his place in the Hall of Fame already.
Yeah, because he's injured, right? Like they say he's going to play, but
I saw that injury. I've had a high ankle sprain before.
Those things hurt.
That is bad business.
Dude, when I saw the replay, because I wasn't watching the game live, I was watching like the highlights on while I was at work, and when they showed me that, I was like, "There's no way he went back."
That is painful. Because after he got back in the game, they spatted him up. They did the best they could do. They tape outside the shoe and all that kind of stuff. Put him back out there. He threw a screen pass to the running back, and he couldn't even get it to the running back in the screen pattern. That's how, because he stepped back on that back foot and all his strength left him. And when he threw the ball, it barely made it to, I think it was Pacheco. It barely made it to his feet.
Yeah.
And I was like, he can't, for what he did after that game. And I know Cincinnati would be crazy not to just bring all the heat in the world up the middle to force him to run outside because he can't run. He might be able to hobble going to, because I think it was his right foot. He might be able to go to his left, but if he tries to run to his right, where he's got to push off his right,
he's gonna collapse.
That's bad business right there, bro.
I hope he's as healthy as he can possibly be for tomorrow, because I feel like that's gonna be a great game. As an Eagles fan right now, let's say you do beat the 49ers and you kill the whole Purdy's Cinderella story. Who would you rather face? You're saying the Bengals are going to beat the Chiefs, but who would you rather face if you were the Eagles?
I would rather face the Chiefs.
Think so?
And I'm saying that specifically, just looking at it strategically, because you don't have Patrick Mahomes at 100%.
What if he was like complete? Let's just talk completely healthy.
If he was, I would still want to face the Chiefs because the Chiefs have a lot more gaps on their defense.
Right.
There's a reason why Patrick Mahomes has to put up all those points.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't talk about. But he looks great doing it, man.
He does. I like to say that if you look at their styles, Patrick Mahomes can get out of almost any situation. But Patrick Mahomes scrambles to buy time. Whereas Jalen Hurts, when Jalen Hurts gets out, he's out. He gone.
He's not thinking about, let's see if we can make this pass.
That's a 10 or 15 yard, or he'll get what he can get. He slides, gets his butt out of bounds, whatever he's going to do, and then back to the next play. Patrick Mahomes is doing some off the wall, doing that stuff you did in your front yard as a kid, throwing off his back foot, behind the back, all of that kind of stuff, man. He's crazy with that. And now he's at a point where everybody knows I guarantee you he practices all of that stuff in practice.
He has
because they're too comfortable with it. He's not even no look passes. That means the dude that got the pass has to be ready for that. So they have to practice that, and he's mastered it right now. So, but him being hobbled strategically, that's where you want to be. If he's not going to be at 100%, that means he's got to be a traditional quarterback. Not saying that he can't be, but that gives you a better chance against him.
No, I agree, because you keep Mahomes in the pocket, he can't improvise. He's very beatable because most of his big chunk plays come on those crazy improvisational throws.
Yeah,
behind the back.
That's why I love him, man. That's why that's the type of football I love to see, man.
And everybody almost gets him. Almost.
Yeah, he'll be like in the middle of getting sacked, like there's no angle. He can't even extend his arm, and somehow he'll still throw a dime.
Yeah,
like 30 yards down the oh Jesus, man.
Like,
I don't know, man. I'm really excited.
50 yards. I'm like, what the?
I'm really excited about tomorrow's slate of games.
The Bengals better blitz the hell out of that A and B guy. Bring all the pressure up the middle and force him outside because he can't move. So I expect it's going to be a lot of Kelsey as usual.
Yeah.
He's going to be getting rid of the ball super quick. He's going to run an offense very similar to what San Francisco does, because that's the one thing that's kept Brock Purdy in games. They get the ball out quick. He's got Purdy in San Francisco. All of those you got Debo, Kittles, and CMC. So he can drop back and get rid of the ball in 2 seconds. All you got to do is put the ball in the hands of your playmakers and let them make plays. That's all he's got to do. Now, fast forward 3, 4, 5 weeks. Now he's comfortable dropping back and reading a little bit more. He can put the ball where it needs to be put. So it's not like Brock. That's why I don't show me how somebody plays. If you put tape over the back of his jersey and you didn't know who he was and you just watched him play, you wouldn't know he was a rookie.
No, you wouldn't.
So I don't think of it like that.
Do you think next season the 49ers, whether they win or lose, they come back with Brock, or do you think they try to get somebody else in?
They'd be crazy not to.
Yeah.
Because now you got a guy who's shown you, number one, he knows the offense. That's the most important. Number two, he can execute the offense. And he can execute the offense with efficiency, effectiveness. He's fast enough to get out of there. The players like him, so they rally around him.
The fans like him.
Well, the fans because
I feel like they were like a little like mixed at the beginning, skeptical. Yeah,
right. Because they were like, "Oh my God, when we get Jimmy G back?" That's what that is. But once the same thing with Jalen. Once you show that you're about that business and you can do what you got to do,
he's about it.
It's a 180.
He's about it.
It's a 180, man. So you can't.
Here's all.
He'd be crazy. They'd be crazy to get rid of Brock. They better sign that kid. They got lucky because he's. I think he's got like a $3 million contract for 4 years. So he's
they're paying him pennies, man.
Yeah. So they got very similar to how we are now. They've got an opportunity to get some players around him. I would say give him another year. You can redo his contract a little bit, give him a little bit more money, throw some easy incentives in there to pump it up, not to mention all the money he's going to get from endorsements and all that kind of stuff, just from what he's done so far. So he's going to make his money, but that gives the 49ers an extra year. Number one, they got to make up some ground because you already know D'Amico Ryans is leaving. So who's filling in that slot? Because he's made some mighty big shoes to fill. So now you can get some pieces around him and see what the kid's got, because now he's got a whole year. So you can really evaluate him. I feel bad for Trey Lance because he's the highest draft pick backup that's going to be in the league. Well, I can't say that with Zach Wilson in New York, but
and Mitch Trubisky too.
Yeah. You're right. So it's they're in a good situation because they're getting first round play for Mr. Irrelevant money, and that gives you a lot of financial elbow room to bring in some good pieces.
Let's just hope that he can continue his form next year, because you never know.
Yeah, next year, not tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, man. So we're about to call it a day. Right, I do have your Instagram on here. So if you know,
that's wrong.
Is it wrong? Because I was trying to get with Rios about it, and that's your Instagram, correct?
Coach _.
Oh.
Wait a minute. You said Instagram, right?
Yeah, Instagram.
Yeah, I think you're right. That is my Instagram.
Boom.
I'm thinking you're talking about Twitter.
Okay, now, people, if you're listening, if you want to find him on Twitter, it's Coach Markus 06 with _ between Coach and Marcus. There it goes.
Coach Markus 06. There you go.
Okay, so we're about to call it a day. Anything you want to say? Promote anything?
Yeah, you can check me out. You can catch me every Thursday at 7 p.m. on A2D Radio. That is youtube.com/@A2D Radio. My show is called Pro Fan Talk. Or you can catch me regularly. I'm putting content on my personal YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Pro-Fan Talk. So catch me up. Trying to put some content out there, trying to grow, man. It's enough out there for everybody to eat, brother.
You and us both, man. We're trying to do the same thing. We appreciate you coming into the podcast. Hopefully we can get you back. Maybe if the Eagles do go to the Super Bowl. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. However it ends up going.
Holla at me.
All right, you brother. You take it easy. We're about to finish it. Hopefully I don't mess this up. Y'all take it easy, guys.